Etymology and historical origin of the baby name Bruno. Bruno is a name used among many ethnicities from Germans to Spanish, Portuguese to Italians, Slavs, and French alike. Etymologically speaking, the name originates from the Germanic brun, meaning brown. It was a common name among Germans dating back to at least the Middle Ages. The name was borne by several German saints, including a 9th century Duke of Saxony who died in battle against the Vikings. He lends his name to Brunswick, Germany, i.e., Bruno's settlement. Saint Bruno of Cologne was another German saint who founded the Carthusian order in the 11th century, a contemplative order of monks and nuns. English speakers did not really adopt this name until the late 19th century. It may have been inspired in part by Lewis Carroll's 1889 novel Sylvie and Bruno. Much like Carroll's Alice books, Sylvie and Bruno deals with social and moral values of Victorian England. In terms of usage in the United States, Bruno was probably brought over by 19th century German settlers. Today, the name Bruno is most popular in Catalonia, Spain, Brazil, and Chile, but he sees most of his success in Croatia. It also remains a fairly common name in Germany. Since it's used among so many disparate cultural groups, we'd say this one has cosmopolitan appeal. Personality of the boy named Bruno. The number 7 personality is deeply mystical and highly in tune with their spirituality. They operate on a different wavelength than the average Joe. Spending time alone comes easily to 7s, as it gives them time to contemplate philosophical, religious, and spiritual ideas in an effort to find real truth. 7s are wise, but often exude mystery as if they are tapped into something the rest of us don't understand. They love the outdoors and are fed by nature. 7s are constantly seeking to understand human nature, our place in the universe, and the mystery of life in general. This makes them quite artistic and poetic, but they are also keen observers with high intellect, so they are equally scientific-minded. 7s are charitable and care deeply about the human condition. Popularity of the boy named Bruno. Bruno would probably win the gold medal for tough guy names. It just makes you immediately think of a brawny, masculine guy like Rocco, Mario, Franco, Marco, and Nico. Don't mess with Bruno. Then again, Sacha Baron Cohen may have toyed with this notion in his movie Bruno about a flamboyantly gay Austrian TV host. Yet herein lies his charm. Bruno can go to opposite ends of the spectrum. He's at once beefy and burly yet warm and cuddly. He could be the daredevil race car driver or the creative musical composer. Bruno could be a wrestler or a king. The name also reminds us of Cinderella's lovable bloodhound in the 1950 Disney movie who scares off Lucifer, the evil stepsister's cat. Furthermore, Bruno is the familiar name of the brown bear character in children's fairy tales. In fact, Bruno is a great name for any animal, dog, cat, lizard, bear, and most of all, Homo sapiens. Bruno is a German name, but it also has Italian-Spanish flair and personality. The name used to be quasi-popular in the United States at the turn of the 20th century, but by the 1970s, Bruno disappeared off the chart. He has returned to the charts this new century, starting in the year 2000, but the name is still super uncommon and bestowed with very low frequency. Seriously, Bruno is a name like Rocco. Keep saying it out loud. It will grow on you. Trust us. Quick facts on Bruno. Gender, boy. Origin, German. Number of syllables, 2. Ranking popularity, 647. Pronunciation, Bruno. Simple meaning, brown. Characteristics of Bruno. Eccentric, mystical, solitary, wise, intuitive, philosophical, imaginative. Cultural references to the baby name, Bruno. Literary characters of the baby name Bruno. Bruno is the young brother of Sylvie in Lewis Carroll's 1889 novel, Sylvie and Bruno, succeeded by Sylvie and Bruno, concluded in 1893, and a much lesser cousin to Alice in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass. Bruno and his sister transit between their morally stifling Victorian household and the fantastical land of the fairies, being alternately human and elfin. Bruno is a darling child, at least as illustrated by Harry Furness, but perhaps just a little too precious by our 21st century standards. Still, he is all boy, albeit Victorian boy, who is a pesky, if adored, little brother to the responsible big sister Sylvie, always trying to get out of his lessons and managing to get into scrapes galore. Still, a child who cries hurted mind self-welly much, is just a wee bit on the tutu side for our tastes. Bruno Anthony, Charles Anthony Bruno, is the deliciously evil protagonist of Patricia Highsmith's 1950 thriller, Strangers on a Train, which was adapted into a film of the same name by Alfred Hitchcock in 1951. In the book, he is Charles Anthony Bruno, in the film, he is Bruno Anthony. Poor little rich boy Bruno, a coddled mama's boy who covets his strict father's wealth, he tries to arrange a crisscross murder with Guy Haines, a stranger whom he meets on a train, his father for Guy's wife, who won't grant Guy a divorce. Bruno is an insecure young man who has no direction in his life, who has coasted thus far on his family's wealth. Convincing himself that Guy has agreed to the pact, Bruno goes ahead with his part of the scheme. Naturally, things go awry, with disastrous results. Eventually, Bruno gets his comeuppance, and darned if we aren't rather sorry about that. As portrayed by Robert Walker in the movie, he is much more interesting and watchable than the rather insipid Guy, Farley Granger. And isn't that always the way with the bad guys? Famous people named Bruno. Bruno Soares, Brazilian tennis player, Bruno Walter, composer, Bruno Junqueira, race car driver, Bruno Tonioli, DWTS judge, Bruno Mars, singer, Bruno Senna, Brazilian race car driver, Bruno Sammartino, wrestler,